Greetings, everyone. This is Vanessa Ray from Vanessa Ray of Light. And I had a wonderful insight the other day that had me go a little deeper into this distinction. And I thought it was really helpful and really cool, and that some of you out there would also get something from it. So, and the reason I'm particularly making sure that I share it today is because today is January 1st. And it has to do with intentions, goal setting, resolutions, that sort of thing. So a lot of people will set some sort of, I don't use the term resolution. Normally I just don't. I also don't particularly like the word goal. That doesn't really work for me either. And so I'm going to kind of go through this and model it for you so that you can see how to apply it in your life. So like I said, resolution, it makes me think of something you do for a little bit and then you end up not doing. That's, of course, not the case for everyone, but I'm talking about how it works for me. Goal feels a little too externally focused. And I don't want to be externally focused. I want to be a little more internally focused. The term goal also kind of intimidates me a little bit. And so I don't like it as much. The word intention, however, feels a little softer. It's still, for me, it takes into account the balance of my part in my life, my co-creative ability to play a really, really, really big part. But it also takes into account that I'm not the creator. So, I am not the be all end all, and things come up in life that are out of my control. And my only job is to be with that and react and respond as consciously as possible. So the word intention for me is, like I said, it's soft enough that I still know what I'm doing. It still gives me that focus. This is what I'm intending to do. Just like if I intend to go to the store, well, unbeknownst to me, a certain road is closed because a tree fell. Well, I'm not going down that road then. So if I said my goal was to go down this road, well, that may or may not happen, right? But if I just say I intend to get to the store, that gives me enough direction and focus, but also leaves it a little bit open and flexible. So I'm going to talk about intentions. And a great way to think about intentions, and intention particularly for the new year, something you're creating, is to think of what that word is actually made of. So intention is made of intent, what you intend to do. And think of that like the TEND, the tend, as in a tendency. Now, we tend to think of people or their personality or their main characteristics. So this person's angry, this person's outgoing, this person's friendly, this person's wise, this person's greedy, this person's, dot, 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 dot. Well, all of those people are not really all those things. They have that tendency. They tend to be angry. This woman tends to be kind. The kind woman is also the angry woman. She gets angry. And the angry woman or man is also, the kind man or woman. We're just talking about whatever you tend to do the most is how you end up knowing yourself and how others end up knowing you. So if you tend to think certain thoughts, you tend to have a mental landscape that looks that way. If you tend to eat certain foods, or you tend to eat too much of a certain food, it's a way that you know yourself. But it's not that you are that person or you have to stay that person. It's that was your tendency or is your tendency. So everyone can change and everything does change. And when we're talking about making changes for a new year or for any time, we're talking about actually changing your tendencies. So, for instance, I have tended to not be very physical and active for the last 9 months. And so I know myself as right now, I know myself more as someone who is a little bit out of shape. And I don't feel as strong as I want to anyway, ... So I have had that as a tendency. So when I'm thinking of making an intention to be fit in my body, then what I'm really talking about is changing my tendencies to tendencies of moving more, changing my tendencies even of the way I think of myself. As instead of thinking of myself as someone who is pretty inactive right now, I'm going to have to change that tendency of referring to myself that way, thinking of myself that way, and therefore having those habits, and change my tendencies to the tendencies of someone who is active. So I need to stop complaining about being inactive. I can be honest about my past tendencies, but I also want to change my tendencies. So now my tendencies have to change. My onions are starting to burn, so I have to make it really, really brief. So think about it as which tendencies do you need to, what's the word I want? Shift, that's not really the word. Moderate, amend. Which tendencies, do you need more of this, less of this, that kind of thing. Think about it as shifting your tendencies. And that is all you have to do to shift your reality and to shift your outcome, right? So think of intention and intend and tendencies. Try that out. Okay, let me know how it goes. www.vanessarayoflight.com.